And you know, we were up at one of a tournament in Raleigh, and I mean, he hit this kid to the body with a punch. And the kid dropped. He dropped. He had a big Taekwondo chest guard on, and then you know got back up, and then Dakota hit him with a kind of a ridge hand or something. He did hit him hard, and then went on and went on, and then it was he got him with a back fist, and then the kid's lip was bleeding. Before he hit him, his lip was bleeding, and he's like, and they disqualified him. I'm like, wait a minute, that was from the first hit. You know, how can you disqualify him now? Now his lips bleed. Well, what it was, and the father, it was a doctor, and this kid, he was really upset. He wasn't upset with my son. He was upset that his son was wearing a black belt. And he said to me, he goes, and I said to him, I said, look, my son's not trying to hurt your son. This is just how, he says, you know, your son's a black belt. He said, I can see that. He said, I got a problem because my son shouldn't be out there as a black belt. And I said, you're right, and there lies the problem. You're putting black belts on people that shouldn't be black belts. You know, I always remember I had a student of mine, God, he was you know, he just was one of these really uncoordinated people, you know, and he probably trained with me for about 4 years. I got him up to brown belt. He'd been brown belt for like a year, and you know, kids were passing him by for black belt tests. And finally, the father came up to me, and the program was, he was on, I didn't put him on a black belt program because there was no way. Because when you put somebody on a black belt program, you're committing that you know this in 3 years you can get this kid to black belt. And the father said, look, I got to ask you, you know, when's he testing for black belt? I said, well, I'll be honest with you, I don't see it happening in the foreseeable future. He's welcome to train. He's welcome to stay in class. I think martial arts is great for him. But I can tell you right now, it won't be this year. You know, and I'm putting him on another year program. And now I lost a student because they didn't want to do it anymore. But you know what? I got to sign my name to that certificate. You know, my biggest fear has always been one of my black belts goes out in the street, gets his ass handed to him. That's, to me, that would be a disgrace. You know, and so that's where the more, you know, it's gotten bad. You know? And there's always been a warrior class, still is today. There's always that warrior class that wants to fight. Okay. And they're the people that really do martial arts, okay? But what's happened is you have these schools that are promoting the people that are not a warrior class, and they're promoting them black belt, and then they in turn opening up a karate school, and then they're promoting their black belts, and then their next black belts, and all of a sudden you end up with, you know, where martial arts really has gotten a bad rap was because black belts can't fight. And they were right, you know, when MAA came out, they, you know, pretty much, you know, made karate, traditional martial arts, the way some of it was taught, look bad. Okay, because them boys will fight. Them boys will hurt you. Okay, I mean, I have nothing but admiration for them. I wouldn't want my son to do it, because you know what? You're going to see, give it about 10 years, and you're going to see the brain injuries. There's no way you can take those kind of shots over and over and over again, and you know, some of the knees to the face. That's going to come back. I mean, look at football players that are, you know, guys back in the day that, you know, are forgetting their memory and what have you. But you know, I see a lot of MAA schools opened up in Wilmington, okay, and I think it's great. People want to do MAA until the first time they get their nose broken. And all of a sudden they're like, shit, that hurt. And I know, because my face is plastic. I had my nose broken but so bad one time, it was flat from here down. I was in college, flat, I got elbow. I mean, from here to here, my nostrils were over here. I spent 3 days in the hospital getting my face rebuilt. Parents were pissed. Mother and father were so mad at me. I had to have major plastic surgery. And then I had my jaw broken. That was a fun one. They wire you. And then I wasn't supposed to fight for a year. And then I was with a buddy of mine at a tournament in Philadelphia. And we came back to Pittsburgh and we stopped in Harrisburg for him to fight in another tournament on a Sunday. And they had a $500 prize in my weight class. And I'm like, oh shit, I can win this. I looked around, these guys schmucks, right? And, you know, borrowed his gear, all right? He had an extra uniform, I didn't have my stuff. And got out and they, you know, I won the first, second fight. Last guy they fought, they called break, and I made the mistake of taking a step just to turn, and that sucker hit me and re-broke my jaw. Oh yeah, that, you know, came home, you know. Now the first time my parents were somewhat sympathetic, okay? Because, you know, it's so painful that they give you liquid back then, liquid morphine. That's what you drink. And you gotta walk around with a pair of pliers because you're wired, and if you start to choke on something, you've got to clip it so the wire sort of releases so you don't choke to death. Okay, and that's the fear. Okay, because then you got to get it rewired. All right, and you got to be awake when they do that. Okay, and so you drink a lot of morphine, you know, and it was the first time they were really, you know, poor Jane. Second time, I got no sympathy at all. No, I'm talking at all. And all you want to do is lay in a, you know, really dark room, you know, with ice packs. And, you know, my mother would be cranking up the stereo, you know, shit like that. You know, or stupidity. But, you know, those are the injuries you took back then, major dental replacements. Mm-hmm. You know, I've had, I mean, it's funny when I go to the doctors, you know, and they, you know, with this heart thing I'm going through, they ask you, you know, about your previous medical. And I'm like, you know, all right, so I've had 3 ophthalmoscopics on the left, 2 on the right, left. I've had 2 ACLs, 1 ACL replacement. Yeah, you know, and now I'm paying for it because I hurt all the time. I mean, I literally live on, you know, ibuprofen, vitamin I, you know, it's part of it. You know, I can't run like I used to. So I ride a bike with the old people, you know, but I don't, you know, I don't jump rope like I used to. It's just you make certain adjustments. Doesn't mean you give up, you don't do it.